Oh, he's so cute. I don't have anything of interest near me. Oh wait, I have this from my emo days.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I
pretty
got that beanie on. Yeah. I wore it last night, and one of the pictures you can kind of see me because I was kind of up front, and I'm like singing the lyrics. So obviously the picture looks terrible. I'm like, man, why do I always do this? Every time somebody takes a picture and I'm in it, I always look like the idiot. Oh well, happens.
happens. I always look
Mhm.
like an idiot, so
You are
let
an
me see
idiot.
if. Ah, thanks.
Mhm. Oh, I do have something of interest, and it's behind me.
Yeah, I don't know.
Give me 1 second.
Hey, audio's good. I don't have to cancel or stop it. I just checked the live broadcast. It's good.
It's your baby. Wow, you can't even like barely see him. Hey.
Yeah, so I checked it. Audio's good, so we can start whenever then.
Oh, okay. Cool. Cool. Okay. Wait, we're tangled here.
Hi, Kat.
Okay, and yeah, knocked.
So we're going to be starting doing YouTube videos for our podcast. We're starting to really push the marketing now. We weren't doing it for the
Mm.
first months, but now we're really starting to push it. So we're hoping that we get something out of it now. Hopefully.
Well, that's
Anyway.
kind of what I was telling you before. I was kind of like, you should record your, ooh, fancy
And
business cards and everything. Vistaprint.
we've been putting the audio only on YouTube, but
Mm.
we just bought some cameras. We bought 2 cameras and stuff like that. So we're going to start recording things. I've put a couple.
What are you using to record?
I don't know what Colton bought. He bought them himself. He hasn't shown me what he
Oh.
bought. So
Well,
I don't
you're
know.
gonna need oh, what is it Jared uses? I can't remember. I'll have to look back on his podcast and see what he uses for, because there's some kind of thing he does to plug in both of his cameras. That way he can switch from person to person, whoever's around the table and whoever's speaking.
Yeah, that would be
And
nice.
so yeah, woke you up. Now you're mad at
I
me.
just I just wanted to have a single camera. I didn't want multiple cameras. I figured just a single camera on us. And he's like, I'm gonna buy 2. I was like, why buy 2? Why not buy 3? He was like, I'm just gonna buy 2. I was like, all right.
Right. Right. Well, you kind of want more angles, keep it interesting, because if it's just straight on, it's kind of like
I mean,
this is
eventually,
boring. It's
that.
visual aesthetics.
Yeah, I know. Jeez, God. But I'm not gonna
God.
I'm not gonna do the intro music. I'll just add that editing.
Oh,
I'll do that way.
post.
Yeah.
Edit post.
I will unplug that. Move this over here so I have it in front of me. Oh yeah, I got a Microsoft Surface tablet. Woo.
Ooh, I'm trying to sell my iPad actually.
Really?
Need some extra money.
Mm,
Yeah, that's expensive down here. My rent's like 1,200.
that's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, I got a house, so it's not like well, it's I guess a manufactured home, I should say, not really a house. I mean, it's a house. I have 2 bedrooms and whatever, so I got to look for another roommate because my last one kind of screwed me over a little bit. So I'm a little behind in my bills.
Mm.
Yay!
Yeah.
I love people.
But all right, so I will get started here in a second. Where are we at here? I wanted to get
Take your time. I'm not going anywhere, doing anything. Kind of waiting for my sister to call, so I'm gonna text her real quick and let her know not to call.
and then she's gonna text you and say why.
Well, I'm gonna text her and be like, "Hey, let me know. Let me know when I can call you, and I'll call you." We pretty much talk every night. Uh, She should have been out of work by now, though. Okay. That'll be taken care of.
All right. Okay. So I'll start us off, and I'll just get us moving. We'll just talk. Pretty much. That's about it. Just talk. Go with things.
How it goes.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Oh, real quick. So last night, I'm on a podcast group on Facebook, and I just posted there. Somebody was like, I can't believe it. We're doing great. 4 episodes in, and we have over, 3,000 downloads. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing wrong? I got like 50 episodes between all of the shows that I do, and I have like 600 downloads. Like, what the fuck? So I posted the question on her, like, what am I doing wrong? I feel like I'm doing something wrong. So this guy starts talking to me. He's like, hey, look, this is what I think you should do and stuff like that. So we're going to be implementing that stuff here in the next week or so. But I started talking to him more and more and more last night. We just talked for like 3 or 4 hours about shit because he has a podcast similar to the one I do where he just nerds out about shit. And found out he lives an hour and a half away from me in PA. And one of the running gags that we have on our podcast, it started with like episode 1 or 2, is every once in a while we say, hey, Domino's, you should sponsor us. Domino's, he fucking works for Domino's. I was like, this is fucking
That's great.
So, all right.
Domino's should be sponsored.
Yeah.
Or Pizza Hut. Man, Pizza Hut. I had Pizza Hut today, so.
No, thank you.
Delicious.
All right, we're going to keep the video, or do you want to just go audio? I don't care. It's up to you.
I don't care. I'm fine with either.
All right, in 3, 2. What's going on, everyone? Robert from the Remote Control here, and with me today is the lovely Rachel Kasparic, right? We're going to use your last name.
Hello.
Yes. No, everybody knows your last name.
No, start all over. I don't want to do this.
Now, this episode, a few weeks back, I did an episode where I just focused on the DCEU, talked about everything that's been going on within that universe and all the turmoil and craziness with directors and movies being canceled and such. And then we talked about the future and everything. I did that specific episode with a friend of mine named Jonathan. You can check it out. It's in our podcast on Podbean, iTunes, everything you can find there. This episode, however, Rachel and I are going to focus on the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Everything that's been going on within that universe here, whether it's from the first Iron Man all the way up to the upcoming Avengers Infinity War and beyond. So that's what this episode is going to be about. So, Rachel, how's it going?
It's going.
It's good. It's good. So
it's sunny in Florida. Irma missed us. We're good.
Yeah, no hurricanes. So that's good.
No, definitely.
So
Maria's missing us too.
The reason why I asked you to be on this episode here is because of how big of a fangirl you are when it comes to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I know you and I get into debates all the time over the DCEU. Look, yeah. I tell everybody I enjoy both universes. I love the DCEU slightly more, only because DC Comics and those characters are what I grew up with as a child. The Marvel Cinematic Universe has been great. I've enjoyed it. I think that some of the movies get a little more praise than they should get. However, I mean, it is what it is. If we don't go and watch them and support them, we're not going to get them anymore. And I want to keep supporting them because I want to keep getting them, because the more we get, the better chances we are that we're going to get another masterpiece. So with that said, I mean, what are some of your favorites? I would say, what are your top 5? But I know your top 5 are ever changing, you say. So what are some of your favorites in the universe there?
I would say my number 1 favorite started it all, which would probably be the Hulk, the one with Edward Norton, because I have very fond memories with somebody special with that movie who's no longer in my life. But hey, that's another story. So that one, it holds, dear to my heart. I would say I love Civil War. I know you have your opinions on Civil War, but
See,
I
that one should hold a special place in your heart also, because you and
it
I
it
did
it
together.
does. It does. And well, Sebastian Stan is one of my favorite actors, so he had a bigger part in this one, I feel, and Winter Soldier, obviously. And then the first Avengers movie, because that one just brought everything together for me, to see all these characters finally coming together and working together, even though a lot of people are like, oh, it's Iron Man and, his bitches, more or less. So
Man and his bitches.
well, it's true because I mean, all the Avenger movies seem to revolve around what he's done wrong. You
Yeah,
know.
well, I mean, they definitely saw when Iron Man 1 came out how much impact that movie did, and how everybody just grabbed onto the idea of Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. And because of that,
Mm,
they were just like, look, people love him, let's just push him in everybody's face. And that's what they did
yeah.
for phase 1 and phase 2 and almost all of phase 3. It's just been Iron Man, Iron Man, Iron Man, which is okay.
Mm,
I mean, I like Robert Downey Jr. as an actor. I think he has done a fantastic job as Tony Stark and Iron Man. I just think we're to that point where we need to transition away from that, because I think these other characters, and you talk about Bucky, the Winter Soldier, you talk about Captain America, even, and all these other characters that we've had that have come out. I think that we don't need that Iron Man. We don't need that Robert Downey Jr. name to push these films anymore. I like.
mm.
I'm going to take a look at Spider-Man: Homecoming here that just came out, which was a fantastic movie. I absolutely loved that movie. It was great, but I think it would have been better if they left him out. I mean, he wasn't in a lot of it, but I don't think we needed him in that movie, at least in the marketing push, because they definitely shoved him in our face with the marketing push. People were going to go to the
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man movie no matter what. I just think that it's time to get away from that there. So that's just my
Right,
opinion.
right. I mean, like Robert Downey Jr. is one of my favorite actors. I really believe that he is Tony Stark, and it's not, him playing a part. Even though apparently he's very humble in personality, if you were to meet him and this and that. I mean, he has a farm, for Christ's sake. So, I mean, but like with Homecoming, like you said, with the trailers, they kind of pushed him in there a good bit. And then when you watch the movie, he wasn't in it as much, which I really enjoyed. At first, I thought, oh, okay, so he's not really going to be in this movie that much. And then finally getting to watch it, you're like, okay, I like the way that they did that. They really kind of pushed him out a little bit of the spotlight and, really focused on Tom as Spider-Man. So that I did appreciate.
Yeah. So I mean, can you come up with a top 5 or top 3 or anything like that? Can you, or are you just gonna?
Oh, okay. So as of right now, I'm going to say, oh, it's a little tough. I'm gonna have to say Winter Soldier is number one, because that one, the action was there. You really felt the emotions between these two characters who had been friends, and one struggling to figure out who he is, while the other's trying to, help him along the way, but yet still there's that conflict. And that one, kind of reaches home a little bit to me. So that's definitely number one. Number two would have to be Civil War, because again, having all these characters, and it was just, to me, it was beautifully done. Like the Black Panther kept my interest. It just, and Rhodey, and it's just nice seeing them all together and all these conflicts happening between them. So that one really made me happy. Plus Scarlet Witch, like she was amazing in that movie. Like I loved her, because she's still trying to figure out who she is, and she's part of this team that she just kind of like, what the hell's going on. So I would probably have to say the first Thor, because Chris Hemsworth, hello.
Basing these movies off of the looks of the actor.
I know, I'm terrible. No, but I really did enjoy Thor, because I felt like Thor hadn't gotten a lot of, I guess, trying to think of the word. Like nobody really cared about Thor until these movies started coming out. And like when Thor hit, everybody was kind of like, "Oh, okay, well, let's go check it out." And it became a great movie. The second one was okay, but the first one just spectacular in my opinion. You know, so I'm gonna leave it with those three. I think.
Okay.
Because those three kind of like are my favorites right now.
Yeah, I mean, if I were to just say my top three, I mean, it's almost really simple. Number one's Guardians of the Galaxy. The first Guardians of the Galaxy, I think, is just a fantastic film all around. Like you could remove that from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it stands alone. It's a great film. It's got the sci-fi element, which I enjoy, being a big Star Wars fan. So, Guardians of the Galaxy is definitely my number one. Number two would be Captain America: The Winter Soldier. It transcended, much like The Dark Knight did back in 2008. It transcended superhero genre. It wasn't just a superhero movie. It was a spy thriller. It was just very intense. And I think the one thing that, you know, whenever I talk to my mom took my sister out to go see it, and she was like, my sister picked the movie, and my mom was like, "Oh, go see a comic book movie." She came out of it, and she was like, "That was really good. I want to see other ones." So I've been slowly and showing her other, you know, Marvel films since then, and you know, to me, if a movie can do that, if it could pull somebody in who, when you look at the title and you see Captain America and you're like, "Oh, comic book," and then they come out of it loving it, it's a great thing for a movie. Number three is kind of a tie for Iron Man and the first Avengers. Iron Man, I think, is probably one of the most enjoyable superhero films that's, you know, so based in the Marvel universe. I think that it got everything right. All the characters were done perfectly. The settings, the just the feel of the movie. Jon Favreau, in directing that movie, was the perfect choice. I don't think I mean, I'm not saying that no other director could have done it, but I think we would have seen something drastically different, and the MCU probably wouldn't be what it was or is today had Jon Favreau not directed that. Also, Jon Favreau is the one that fought for Robert Downey Jr. to play Tony Stark. So again, if there was no Favreau, there'd be no RDJ as Tony. And then the Avengers, like you said earlier, the Avengers, I mean, it brought all of these characters together for the first time. You know, we've wanted it for years and years to be on the big screen, and this was the first time we got it, and it was just so exciting. It was so much fun. And Joss Whedon, being the one to direct it and bring it to screen, who has done an excellent job in his career with ensemble films, you know, such as Serenity, or, you know, the TV show Firefly, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and stuff. I mean, he's done such an amazing job that he was the perfect person to do this. Plus, he's a huge comic book nerd, so it worked. So those four would be my top three. Yeah, it sounds weird, top four, or those four top three.
Everybody gets it.
Yeah, I think everybody gets it. I just, you know, I sit here and think, and since the Marvel universe started back in, was it 2007, 2008? Yeah, it's been almost 10 years now, or it has been about 10 years now.
I think it's 10.
I never expected it to be where it is today. Like, I never expected this to happen. I mean, over the course of that time, we've gotten 3 Iron Man films, 3 Captain Americas, 2 Avenger films, you know, and we're gonna have a third Thor film coming here. I mean, we've had so many films over this span of time. Whoever would have thought that Doctor Strange would have a solo movie and be on the big screen? You know, even the Black Panther. Who would have thought that was ever going to be possible? So, you know, honestly, you sit here and you just think back on everything, and we've been blessed, being comic book fans, or even just, you know, nerds in general. We've been blessed with having some of the best use of these characters in Hollywood ever. I mean, go back and you take a look at some of those films. Take a look at, and I know this is Marvel, this is DC, but look at those Batman films in the mid '90s. Those are horrendous. You have the Spider-Man, you know, TV show from the 80s, or even there was a Thor and Captain America movie in the 80s. Like that stuff, like, it was just horrible. They just didn't know. Not only did they not understand how to use them, but the special effects just weren't there. You couldn't make it feel like a comic book, and now they really do. So with that said, what has been your most disappointing film since?
Oh, Um, I'm honestly, it's a tie right now between Guardians 2 and I want to say the second Thor.
Hmm.
Like those two kind of fell flat for me a little bit. Like I enjoy them for what they are. They are great movies, but I felt like they could have given us a little bit more.
Oh yeah, I agree that Guardians 2 was tough. I mean,
Yeah, like I enjoyed it. It was great, but like when you watch it again and you're kind of like thinking back to it, you're like, ooh, they like they didn't really do that well. Like the first one was beautifully done, great soundtrack. This one, I really haven't heard anything from the soundtrack. You
yeah,
know, there was like a few songs in the movie, and then I'm kind of like, where's the rest of the songs? Like that's what I loved about the first one, because like you could sit there in a theater and you know dance around to it while you're watching the movie. I mean, I know that's not like
and it's
what
funny.
you're supposed to do in a movie.
The best part of that movie of Guardians of the Galaxy 2 was the beginning with Groot dancing around. That was the best part
Yes.
of the movie. After that, it just turned into one bad joke after another. It was just they constantly were trying to shove jokes in, one-liners, trying to make people laugh. And I felt it got
Yeah.
away from what was so good about Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one.
Mm.
You know, yes, it had that humor, but it also had heart. It had a lot of heart in that movie, and they got away from that. I think that they focused too much on the joke aspect of Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I would agree that's probably one of the weaker films. Yeah, it's not my least favorite. For me, my least favorite is Civil War. I know we talked about
Blasphemy.
it, but I honestly, every time I watch it, and I've watched it about 4 or 5 times now, I just it just it's worse and worse to me. Just poor. I think it's a poor script overall. I don't think that they have
I
proper
can kind
character
of agree.
development. They don't have proper character development for some of the characters. You
Mm.
know, the idea of Iron Man, Bucky, and Captain America all showing up at the same place at the same time with a VHS player just happening to be there to play a VHS for them all to see that at the same time. It's just too unlikely. And again, I know
Right.
it's a comic book movie. It's not supposed to be completely and feel completely real, but I mean, you can stretch things to a certain point. But that would
Right.
to me, I was like, oh, come on, and I also didn't like the flip of Tony, because Tony
Mm.
in Iron Man 1, Iron Man 2, Iron Man 3, through all those movies, he was against the government having any control over anything. And while, yes, it's all about character progression and his switch, and I just didn't, it wasn't believable for me for him to talk to that one mother at that one moment, and then all of a sudden he goes, okay, now we got to be in line with the government. Just seemed weak to me
Right.
because there was no other progression to that.
I
Uh,
think because he had lost Pepper too, as well, because Pepper doesn't want him doing this anymore. And he's just kind of trying to search for the right thing to do to
yeah,
try and win her back
and
and do what's right by the people.
and that makes sense, but they don't explain that. Yeah,
Right. And I agree with that.
so I think overall, look, the Russo brothers did an amazing job with the Winter Soldier. However, my problem with the Marvel Universe has always been this: no director in the Marvel Universe has been able to follow up their first movie with as good or a better movie as the first one they did. You look at
Mm.
Favreau with Iron Man. Iron Man's amazing. Iron Man 2, while still good, not nearly as good as the first one. You could take a look at what's his face for um, Guardians of the Galaxy, James Gunn. James Gunn
Mm.
makes the first one fantastic. Second one falls flat. And I think the same can be said about the Russo brothers for those two. So I'm kind of worried about Peyton Reed with Ant-Man and the Wasp because he was, if I'm not mistaken, he did do the first one, right? Did Peyton Reed do the first one? Yeah.
I think so. Can't remember.
So,
It's been so long.
and I am worried about Infinity War. I really am because the
I'm
Russo,
not.
and I feel that Civil War fell flat because of them, and with them doing Infinity War, I'm worried. But
Yeah.
let's we talk about what we love so far, what we've not liked so far. So let's get a little bit into where everything is going. I think that the Marvel Universe has done an excellent job in setting up the future of the franchise or of the universe. Always hinting at Thanos, that overshadowing threat that almost nobody knows about. With the Infinity Stones and the Infinity Gauntlet and everything like that. I think they've set it up very well. Obviously, I think there has been some misses with it, but nothing to the point where it's like, oh, it ruins everything. With that, I mean, we're getting to the point in Avengers Infinity War. We're finally going to see where everything has been leading to. I mean, how excited are you?
I'm excited. Oh, I'm just excited because I see these I guess screenshots and behind the scenes lately, with the what was it recently? It was Robert Downey Jr. and Gwyneth Paltrow in a few pictures, and I posted it in the board because I was so excited. I was like, yes, she's back. I'm so excited.
Yes.
Which, if you've seen Homecoming, you know.
But spoiler alert, Homecoming.
I'm hoping they give us Rescue. That is she's my all-time favorite Marvel character. I mean, my Xbox tag for 360 was Marvel's Rescue. For Pokemon Go, it's Marvel's Rescue. She's it in my eyes. Her and the Dark Phoenix, which the X-Men movies, I don't even want to discuss those.
Now you're this excited. So you're this excited. We have 2 movies to go before we get to there. We got Thor Ragnarok this November, and then Black Panther in February. Now, I'm excited about Thor Ragnarok. I love the first Thor. That's in my top 5. The first Thor is in my top 5 favorite Marvel films. Love the movie. The second one wasn't as great, but I don't think it's as bad as everybody says.
Right.
Thor Ragnarok, what it looks like is they're taking some of the great things that we've had from the Guardians of the Galaxy and mixing it with some of the great things that we've had with Thor and the Avengers and everything like that, as well as the Hulk. I mean, the Hulk is going to be in it as well. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be awesome. Taika Waititi, I think is how you say his the director's name. I don't know, Waititi. I'll just say Waititi. He hasn't done anything like this before, so it'll be interesting to see his take on the comic book, type of universe. I mean, prior to this, what did he do? I mean, I mean, he directed The Hunt for Winter People, What We Do in the Shadows, Boy, Eagle vs. Shark. So there's nothing that is on here that's even like that. He's never been a big movie director. This is his first big movie. So I'm interested to see what he can bring to the universe, for sure.
Yeah, so far from what I've seen from the trailers, it's looking spectacular. Visuals, and so far from what we can grab from the storyline from the trailers is going to be amazing. Hands down, amazing. I can't wait.
Definitely.
I am going to fangirl over that movie probably for years to come.
I'm hoping it's good.
I'm hoping.
I mean, November is a big month when it comes to movies because of 2 movies coming out, and this one comes out first. I'm going to see it. I'll see it in theaters. I'll be there. I'll review it, everything. I'm looking forward to it. And again, I've liked Thor. I've liked Hulk. I've liked everything that those 2 characters have brought to the universe. So I'm hoping this movie does well. The addition of, come on, you add Jeff Goldblum to a cast, it automatically makes the movie that much more enticing. So
yeah, I think our tickets went on sale for Ragnarok, I think 2 weeks ago at our movie theater.
Yeah.
And I want to say that opening night is completely sold out. I went to go get mine and I couldn't get.
Yeah, it's going to be sold out. Absolutely. Opening night is going to be sold out. It's
not even November yet.
I'm probably not going to see it that opening night. It probably won't be until that weekend that I see it at some point. But I'm definitely going to see it the first weekend.
Yeah, I'm probably going to go on probably a Monday or Tuesday because we have special perks at our AMC down here. So I figured I'll go then, get more points, free popcorn, Hey.
Get stuff started. Get the stuff started. Perks.
It's amazing. Because I usually go a lot, even though it's a little bit further than our Cobb Theater, which is kind of like your Carmike but nicer.
Or our
But they don't
Carmike
really have
anymore.
perks. What?
Our Carmike is now an AMC.
Yay! Moving up
But
in the world.
it's still shitty. I don't know if you listened to the podcast a couple weeks ago, our TRC podcast, which is our flagship podcast. I had a little rant on there about theater etiquette, and it had everything to do with the theater that I was in, and it was that one there. It was horrible experience, for sure. But no, I definitely, if you have a Stubs card, I myself love the Stubs card. This year alone, I've seen, I think, 13 movies since I got the Stubs card. So I've had some awesome perks. Free popcorns. I literally just give it, and they're like, "Hey, you want this for free?" I'm like, "Sure." What the heck?
Yeah.
So that's kind of nice about it. I am interested, though, and it's a little off topic, but there's that movie pass that's out now, and I'm probably going to be purchasing that this coming month because there's so many movies that I want to see between now and the end of the year, where it's $10 a month. You get to see one movie a day, every day of the month for free, essentially. You pay $10 a month, and you can see as many movies, up to 30, 31 movies a month, like that. So it's just one movie a day.
My sister has something similar to that, but she pays, I think, yearly or something, and it's pretty much she goes in the movie whenever she wants, and her popcorn's like always discounted and stuff. I was like, man, that's kind of what we need.
It doesn't discount popcorn or anything, but free movie tickets, because most of the time I'm not a big popcorn fan. Usually I just get a drink whenever I'm there. So it is what it is. If I can go, if I pay $10 and I can see 5 movies in a month for only $10, I'm saving like 20.
It's worth it. Yeah.
So moving on, Thor Ragnarok, we're excited. It's going to be awesome. It comes out November 3rd. I'm looking forward to it. You're looking forward to it. Everyone's looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Now, the next movie after that doesn't come out until February. However, next year's pretty crazy because between February and July, we have 3 movies coming out. February 16th, we have Ryan Coogler's Black Panther. Now, Ryan Coogler, the director, has only done one other huge movie. He's actually done 2 films, but the other movie that was really big was Creed in 2015. And I absolutely loved Creed. So automatically when I saw that he was directing this, I was like, I need to see this movie because I think he did a fantastic job with Creed. He co-wrote and directed that movie. He's co-writing and directing Black Panther. And I'm interested. I never thought that we would ever see a Black Panther movie in my lifetime. Not because of all the racial tension in the world, because I know that's what people are going to be twisting this. Oh, the racial tension and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, they did it with Luke Cage.
Yeah, exactly. True.
Perfect example.
But that's not what I want to see. I want to see a good movie. That's what I want to do. Right. I want to go in. I want to see a movie. I want to be taken to a universe, the Marvel universe. So I hope, because Luke Cage did a good job of that. Yeah, there was some in the show that they were, they touched on the racial tension in the world, but they didn't shove it in your face. I'm kind of hoping they don't do that because it's already been a big thing with Black Panther and the way people have been talking. So as long as it's a good movie, as long as it sticks to the narrative of what it needs to give us, then I'm all for it. I am looking forward to it. How about you?
I am. I just don't think the hype is there for me yet. I think maybe because we're just too far out. But I mean, like, Infinity Wars, I am like all for. I think with just Black Panther, I don't really know very much about his character. It wasn't a comic that I actually read. But from seeing him in Civil War, I do love the actor who portrays him. He did an amazing job. I feel like they need to step up the game a little bit though with trying to build a hype for it, because I've only seen like that one little trailer and it really didn't do anything for me.
I mean, keep in mind they don't want to overshadow Thor, so I think we're gonna get a Black Panther trailer. I'm going to talk about trailers and stuff like that after we're done talking here, but we're going to get one sooner than I think a lot of people realize for Black Panther. But again, they don't want to step on Thor's toes right now. Thor has the marketing push behind it right now. They have to push that, especially because of what it's going up against in November. They need to make sure that they're behind it 100%. So Black Panther, I'm interested because of the director. I'm like you. I don't know the Black Panther character very well. I know a little bit about him from Civil War and from what I've read. on Wikipedia and stuff. So I've never really read
Right.
So I'm interested, definitely. So but I'm not, like you said, I'm not overly hyped, but I'm all for it. So.
Right. Yeah, I know it's probably going to be a very excellent movie. I feel like the trailer that they released should have been just a little bit more,
Yeah,
I feel like it really didn't tell us anything.
Yeah. So then moving forward for Black Panther, we got Avengers Infinity War on May 4th, obviously directed by Anthony and Joe Russo, who directed both Winter Soldier and Civil War. And I already stated my worry about that aspect of it. What do you think is going to happen? I mean, do you think somebody is going to die? I mean, that's the big thing.
Yes.
We talked about our hype for the movie. Everyone knows that's listening to this still knows that we're hyped for it. But there's a lot of questions going forward because, obviously the Avengers are split right now. Tony and Steve have gone their separate ways. We know that when Steve comes in, from the promotional stuff and what little bit we've heard, he doesn't consider himself Captain America anymore when we get back to their storylines in this film. I think that, we sat there and we talked about it, and you and I have talked about it in the past. I think I may have mentioned it in the podcast, but I personally think somebody needs to die. I think that's one of the big issues with the Marvel Cinematic Universe is there's never been anything that's like shocking or nothing to ever up the stakes and stuff like that in the films. You
did not see that coming?
Honestly, though, I mean, you think about it. I mean, the closest we had was in Avengers when we thought, oh no, Tony died. He didn't. Hulk saved him and everything like that. That was pretty much the closest.
And then we thought Phil died.
But that doesn't count. I mean,
yes, it does. Phil's been there since day one.
Here's the thing: Phil was a cool side character, but he wasn't a character that the fans fell in love with. They enjoyed his character and when he would show up because he made the snarky remarks in every movie, in the Iron Man movies, and Avengers. But he wasn't somebody that they fell in love with, like Steve or Tony or Bucky or Bruce Banner, any of them. They didn't fall in love with him like that. Obviously, we didn't have enough movies at that point to fall in love. At this point, we have. That's why I really feel that Civil War should have killed one of them in some form or fashion, but they didn't. So we're moving on to here. I think it's here. I think this is where it needs to happen. And I will say this: if they don't kill something in this movie, it's going to be a disappointment for me. It really is, because I want to see that. And it's not that I want to see somebody die. I just I need the stakes heightened. I need to see the Avengers completely beaten down. Again, people try to make the argument that it happened in Civil War. I disagree. The Avengers,
no, I don't agree with that either.
We need to see the Avengers completely beaten down. We need to see them to the point where they feel like they've lost everything because their leader is gone. And whether you want to say Tony or Steve is their leader, who do you want to die? Who would you want to see die in this movie?
The enemy. But seriously, I hate saying this because I know this is probably the direction they're going to go, but I feel like it's going to be Steve. I mean, I love Steve. He's one of my favorite characters. I've always been in love with Steve. He just, he always has that I'm fighting for the right thing, and I feel like they've already kind of hinted towards it with Ultron when Scarlet Witch showed Tony the vision.
Yeah.
You kind of got a glimpse into that, and they started filming that scene in Infinity War because they showed you a behind the scenes of it. So I honestly think Steve's going to be the one to go, which hopefully they take it the direction that I want it to go, but we'll see.
Which would be what, making Bucky Captain America then?
Yes.
Here's my thing.
Give me that look.
I think you're right. I think that Steve is going to be the one to die. I think it's so predictable. It's going to be all about the execution of it. because
Mm-hmm.
you have to do it in a way that's going to not just be impactful for those on screen, but for those watching as well. And again, I think it's expected. I think everybody sitting here listening, everybody who's going to the theater that day is going to fully expect that Steve Rogers is going to die. And it's all about
Yeah.
execution. And I think they have to find a way to do it to a point. And I think the one thing that I think they did well with Civil War is create the split between Tony and Steve. Regardless of how phony it is, the two of them played it very well. It was not done. It wasn't executed properly, but they portrayed it well, is what I'm trying to say. So I buy Steve and Tony don't like each other right now. You know, however, they do have admiration for one another, but right now they're different ends of the spectrum. I get that. Now, I think that's what it has to play into those two characters. And I think you and I talked about this the one time. I think the best way to do it, and it may happen like this, it may not, but I think the best way is for Steve to sacrifice himself in saving Tony. But moments prior, Tony tries to sacrifice himself for the Avengers. So it would be one of those, like, double take type of things where it's just like, okay, Iron Man, Tony's like, all right, guys, leave, I got this. And he tries to stop something and everybody thinks it's going to be Tony that dies. You're all sitting there, we're all on the edge of our seat, like, no, not Tony. And then Steve jumps in for some reason and, pushes Tony out of the way and he takes the brunt of the hit or whatever it is. I think that's to do it because, one, I think at that moment it'll open Iron Man's eyes. Tony will be like, oh wow, like, that's the Steve that I remember. I don't know what it was, just like it would just get all of those things flowing through him again, and just bring that admiration back towards him. So I think that's the best way to do it. Now on the side where you were going, where you hope they go the route where Bucky becomes Captain America, I mean, it's possible. I think somebody is going to take on the moniker of Captain America. However, they will not be the leader of the Avengers. Whoever does will not be the leader of the Avengers. I honestly, truly believe the whole reason why they're starting Captain Marvel after all of this, because, she's supposed to show up in Infinity War. But I think the reason why they're starting Captain Marvel after this is because her name, number one, Captain Marvel. She's going to be the leader of the Avengers after this point, whether it's for the next 3 phases, whether it's just for a short amount of time, or whether they learn or find out like, oh, nobody buys her as the captain, so we're going to move on to somebody else. But I truly believe that that's the route that they're going to go. I think the driving force, much like Tony was the driving force of the Avengers up to this point, I think Spider-Man, Peter Parker is going to be the driving force of it at that point, with Captain Marvel being the leader, just like Steve Rogers was the leader of the Avengers with Tony driving everything forward. So that's the way I see the universe shaking out after the Infinity War, and maybe even it might even take until after Infinity War 2. I'm not exactly sure because that comes out 1 year later, so and then real quick, I mean, we got one more movie next year, Ant-Man and the Wasp. What are your expectations for that?
I'm expecting a good movie. I mean, I never expected that I'd like Paul Rudd at all. I was kind of like, I don't know about him. And then watching Ant-Man, I was like, he's brilliant. He is. Like, he's great. He's hilarious. He really brings that character to life for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really like Paul Rudd as Ant-Man. I do. However, I wasn't a big fan of the Ant-Man movie. I'm not saying it was horrible. It's not the worst. I much like Doctor Strange, I just felt these origin stories for these characters are also formulaic. It's ridiculous. I mean, it's essentially they took Iron Man 1 and just copied and pasted and just changed the names. That's essentially those movies, and it's just disappointing to me because I want to see something new, something fresh, something different. I enjoy, like I said, I enjoy Paul Rudd as Ant-Man. I think he and Spider-Man were probably the best parts of Civil War, and I think that he could have a great story in Ant-Man 2 or Ant-Man and the Wasp. I'm hoping so. I really am hoping so. I mean, we've seen some production stills and photos for what's going on right now, which honestly
I think
baffles me a little bit and it kind of worries me because right now they are filming Infinity War, Avengers 4, or, yeah, 4. So they're, because it's not
Yeah.
Infinity War anymore. It's not Infinity War 2. It's an untitled Avengers film. They're middle filming that. They're filming Ant-Man and the Wasp, and they're supposed to be starting Captain Marvel shortly if they haven't already. I mean, that's 3 movies going on right now that they're filming, and not only that, but all these characters are supposed to be in the Infinity War and the Avengers movies. So it's kind of like, what is going on? It's just kind of confusing to me, but that's okay. You know, I'm excited about it. They know what they're doing. I mean, I don't work in the film industry, so I'm sure they know what they're doing.
I have faith.
Yeah, I have faith. I have faith.
I have faith. I mean, so far, like, I saw a still of the Wasp, and she looks phenomenal.
I think she looks.
I'm excited.
I think she looks decent enough.
I mean, just the costume itself, just the detail and the hard work that was put into it. Just it looks beautiful.
Why did they change it from the one that they teased at the end of Ant-Man? Because that looked cool.
I think that was because that was more of her mother's, in a way.
Yeah,
the way it looked to me.
I suppose.
And plus, like, if somebody gives me something like that, you know, say, you know, Tony Stark comes up to me and builds me a suit, I'm going to want to tweak it myself. And I'm sure that's what she had done.
Yeah, it's true.
You know, because you're like, man, I could add some of this to that, make it look better, you know.
So
that's how I feel.
So we're not going to get too much into everything, but the other ones that have been announced, I already mentioned Captain Marvel. That's 2019. Mm-hmm. The next Avengers film after Infinity War will be in 2019. Then the untitled Spider-Man Homecoming sequel will be 2019 as well. And then in 2020 is Guardians of the Galaxy 3. What other movies are you hoping to see within post phase 3? Because they haven't said, you know, there's rumor that the phases are ending after phase 3 and they're going to do something different. So post phase 3, what kind of movies are you looking forward to, or characters do you want to see?
I don't even know. I mean, because Marvel has a lot of characters, just so many, and a lot of them are very iconic in themselves. I personally would love to see Disney, Marvel take over X-Men and redo those the right way. Because like Logan was phenomenal. Like, so I'm hoping that they do that. I mean, they got Spider-Man back, sort of. So maybe they can work something out for X-Men, because I would like revamped X-Men movies.
No, I completely agree. And I think right now it's a little late for that to happen the way I wish it would. But I think that they should have used Deadpool as the launching pad for this connection to the universe. I think that's what they should have done.
Yeah.
That Deadpool is great. It's, you know, comedy, it's edgy, it's crazy. And that's what I think the Marvel universe needs. I think they need to connect some edginess to their universe. Just a little bit. I'm not saying to make it overbearing, but, you know, have 1 or 2 movies every couple years that are edgy, like Deadpool, and how the X-Force movie is going to be. That's what they need to do, and what they should have done. And again, Fox probably didn't want to do it, but, you know, if they could have convinced Fox, like, okay, Deadpool is still in the universe, we're going to springboard off of that. We're going to introduce the X-Men into our universe after Infinity War. Something that happens in Infinity War is going to cause the mutant gene to go off in people on the planet Earth. And then, boom, we have the X-Men universe starting right there at that point in time. You know, it would suck because you would have to change some of the history up with it a little bit. But I think people wouldn't care at that point, because we're getting the X-Men in the MCU. I think that would be more exciting.
Right.
Oh, crap. X-Men haven't been around since the 50s, 60s, 70s, you know, stuff like that. I think people would be able to get past that if they brought them into the MCU. And, you know, to move forward from that, I think that's what they could have done. They could have done something like that, you know, where there were mutants popping up here and there in the past, but, you know, is this event that happened that really just set off the mutant gene and hundreds of thousands of people across the planet that, you know, then really makes them prominent, I think would have been cool. I think, you know, at that point, they also could have made a deal to bring the Fantastic Four into it, because Fox also owns the Fantastic Four rights for film. You bring them in, and before they announced that there wasn't going to be a phase 4, I think it would have been an awesome thing to announce when they announced Phase 4, said we're going to start off Phase 4 with the Fantastic Phase 4. And call it Fantastic Phase.
Yeah.
Bring in the Fantastic Four, start it off, and go forward with that. I just think that would have been awesome to do. Obviously, it's probably not going to happen. It's just
probably
not in the foreseeable future, unfortunately. So I mean, besides that, I mean, are there any specific characters that we've seen in the past in other movies or rumored, that you want to see? I mean, obviously, everybody's always wanted a Black Widow film. I don't think it's ever going to happen at this point. I know everybody wants to see it, but it's not going to happen. And I think it's past
honestly
happen.
Honestly, what I would love to see is a Black Widow and Hawkeye movie where they go back to Budapest, because I want to know what the hell happened in Budapest. I think there's a lot of fans who agree with me.
I think
like this video if you agree.
I think they could do that as a short. I think what they could do is do
like a one shot.
Like a one shot, or even like a 2-3 episode Netflix, or not Netflix, because that whole thing going on with Disney now making their own streaming service.
Yes.
Do something like that, just a quick 2 or 3 episode thing that's just about that. I think it'd be kind of cool. Will they? Probably not, but it'd be cool.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, originally I thought the TV show for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I honestly thought when I first watched it that was going more towards the X-Men. Like, just the first few episodes, you kind of felt like that was happening.
Well, yeah.
And then kind of like, oh, where are we going now? And I stopped watching it for a little bit because I was just like, I thought this was going to be great. I mean, a lot of people love this show. A lot of people do. For me, it was kind of a miss. Like, the first 2-3 seasons were good. Then after that, I was just like, I can't.
They fell off when they got into the Inhuman stuff, because that's what, like you said, it felt like they were going with the whole X-Men idea, and I felt that's what they were going to turn the Inhumans into, was their X-Men, and special abilities and stuff like that, and I would have been completely fine with that. And I was looking forward to them doing an Inhumans film to introduce that aspect into everything. Really looking forward to it. And Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I think, was a strong show for a while, and then it dipped off for a little bit. This past season started off awesomely with the Ghost Rider aspect. They brought Ghost Rider into the MCU again, and I thought it was done perfectly. I absolutely adored Ghost Rider, a demon.
Oh my!
But no, it was amazing. Like, I just felt it was done perfectly. It was near perfection for Ghost Rider, and it makes me want to see more Ghost Rider. Then the second half of the season kind of fell off, and I'm worried about this upcoming season. I think it's probably nearing its end for its run, and then you have the whole debacle with the Inhumans that is just getting horrible reviews and is looked as one of the worst things that Marvel has ever done. And I don't even have any desire to watch. I'm going to watch it because I want to talk about it, but I really don't have much of a desire to watch this show at all. And this is coming from somebody who was excited about seeing an Inhumans movie, and now we didn't get it, and they did this thing, and it's horrible. And
because didn't they switch it to like a TV series? Is that what they were going for?
I think it's an 8-episode TV series. The first 2 episodes debuted in IMAX to a bunch of boos. Everybody hated it that saw it. And
oh man,
it's not looking good. It's not looking good for it at all. And I'm a Game of Thrones fan, and the guy who played one of the characters, what was his name on Game of Thrones? I can't remember. You probably are yelling at your devices right now. It's this name. Anyways, he played one of the.
I'm trying to think of who you're talking about. He played a bad guy.
He was a bad guy. He played one of the bastard sons, the guy who took over Winterfell, and Ramsay, thank you.
Ramsay Bolton. Yes, I'm finally on season 6 again.
So I'm all caught up. But Ramsay Bolton, he portrays one of the Inhumans in this show, and I was like, okay, cool. He's a badass villain on Game of Thrones. He's got to be a badass because he's the villain in this. He's got to be badass in this too. And the previews I've seen of it, I was just like, no. No.
I really haven't watched any of the previews for it because when I was watching Agents of Shield and we started getting into the Inhuman stuff, I was just kind of like, I don't like this. I don't. Maybe I just don't understand the Inhumans, which they should really explain it a little bit more and give us a little bit more with it. But they really didn't for me, and that's kind of where I was just like, I can't watch this. So I stopped watching Agents of Shield because of it. I was like, all right, I don't know where we're going with this. I got to where she met her mom and I think
Okay,
her dad.
let's say this:
And I was like,
it's not a horrible idea to pick
mm,
it up and watch it again, and just finish off what they have. There again, it has its moments where it's good, it has its moments where it's bad, but it's worth it. I mean, if you're a fan of Marvel, definitely check it out. Like I said, I think it's going to near its end here soon. I think if this season won't be the final season, it'll definitely be the next season. And I'm interested to see if they do anything different, if they do something new, something with that.
try and bring back a crowd.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I'm for the TV series aspect of Marvel, I'm not a huge fan of anything. Like I enjoyed Jessica Jones, I enjoyed Daredevil 1 and 2 and The Defenders. I didn't get into Luke Cage. I tried watching it, just couldn't. And then I haven't even tried watching Iron Fist because I heard that it was terrible. So I was like, why? I'm not a TV show watching person.
Well, thank you for the segue here, because the next thing was the Netflix series. The Netflix series. Look, I've watched them all. I've watched Daredevil season 1 and 2 multiple times because I think they're some of the most gripping, grounded superhero of anything that we've ever seen. I think it's amazing, those two seasons. Jessica Jones, I sold you on Jessica Jones. I was telling you to watch it. You refused to watch it for so long. I was like, you need to watch it.
I was just like, I don't know.
And I mean,
I fell in love with it.
Yeah,
exactly. One of my favorite actors is in it, so I couldn't really say no.
Yeah. So I love that. Luke Cage was good. The first 7 episodes or so I thought were fantastic. And spoilers, 3, 2, 1. They had balls to kill off their main villain after 7 episodes of that show. Like, that was impressive. Like, I didn't think they would do
spoiling it for me.
But whatever. But it's after that, it just kind of goes. Once that happened, I was like, hey, that's awesome. It's a little ballsy. I wonder what they're going to do. And, oh, you did this. So like it worked all the way up to that. And then it kind of fell after that point. Iron Fist was horrible, start to finish. Like, I heard. I don't know why I watched all 13 episodes. I don't know why. I think I even called off a day of work to watch to binge it. I actually,
wow.
I'm 99% sure I called off work because I was like, oh, Iron Fist, I'm going to call off work and I'm going to watch it. Literally, I think I
felt like the hype was there for it, but whenever everybody was like, yeah, don't waste your time with it, I was just like, okay. I like I said, I'm not a TV show watching person. I think the only thing that I've ever watched all the way through so far would be Game of Thrones and Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And I think Angel I did all the way, but I didn't really care for Angel. But like, I feel like TV shows just can't pull me in enough. The only one, like I said, that does is Game of Thrones because they have balls. They kill off people that, you're just like, I love that person. And then you're like, oh, well they're gone. Now what?
Well, after Luke Cage, not Luke Cage, after Iron Fist, we got The Defenders just about a month or so ago. And
that one I did finish.
I tell you what, I thoroughly enjoyed The Defenders. I'm not going to say it was fantastic. It was amazing. I'm not going to say that, but I really enjoyed it because one, it was only 8 episodes, which I think, or 9 episodes, 8 or 9 episodes, and that really helped push the story. I also love the interaction between the characters and each actor. I think they played well off of each other, except for Finn Jones, who I think is just a horrible actor. I don't know why they cast him as Danny Rand. I don't know why they wanted to bring him into this universe. I don't even know why he was in Game of Thrones, because he was terrible in that as well. So,
he was in Game of Thrones?
Yeah, he was. Oh, geez, what the hell is her name? See, I'm terrible. I love Game of Thrones, but I'm terrible with names in that show. Okay, so
Um,
Joffrey was
I
going to
think
marry that one chick. What was her name? It was her brother.
Marcella, or not Marcella, Marjorie.
Marjorie.
And you're talking, that is him. I
Yeah,
didn't even think about that.
yeah.
Oh
You
my
see his naked,
God.
which was kind of disappointing. But so I don't want to see that.
I didn't even think of that. I was like, he does look familiar, and I can't think of who it is. But I saw Game of Thrones first before
Yeah.
Defenders, so it didn't click in my head. And like I said, I'm rewatching all of Game of Thrones before watching Seven, which I know I'm a little late, but like I said, I'm not a TV show watching person. I'm getting there. I've already gotten the spoilers.
Oh, that's no fun.
Thanks, Facebook.
So yeah, again, Defenders, excellent show. I absolutely enjoyed it. My biggest complaint with that whole universe on Netflix is they don't connect it enough to the MCU. Yeah, they have the incident and different things like that, but honestly,
they hint little things, but they don't really go into it.
We have this Infinity War coming up, this movie that's supposed to affect the entire universe in some form or fashion. These characters should be there. You know, all of these actors and actresses that they got, with the exception of the guy who plays Danny Rand, they're all excellent actors and actresses. Their job, they do a great job. They can act in movies as well as TV shows. I don't see why they don't bring them into it. I know this is some big galactic incident and everything like that, but you have a super strong guy, super strong woman, a bulletproof guy, super strong woman. You have a blind guy who can basically do anything. There's no reason why they can't be in this, because you look at the Avengers, you have Hawkeye, you have Black Widow, you have Spider-Man, who, they all have, Hawkeye and Black Widow have no superpowers. They're going to be there. So that argument that they've made, because they made that argument, Marvel or DC, the MCU has made the argument that, we can't bring them in because this is about superpowered beings, and they're not all superpowered. No.
They don't. Yeah. I feel like if they are going to do anything with them, because they are the Defenders, they're kind of like the back of the house. Yeah. They're going to keep most citizens safe. So what I'm kind of hoping is maybe Tony contacts one of them, and just do like a short little thing where they're like video chatting back and forth. He's like, you need to take care of this, take care of the citizens in the city, get them out of here. And then that be that. And then maybe if we get like a second Defenders series, they'll kind of play into that a little bit.
Yeah.
And then you'll kind of see them go their own way. Hopefully, we don't know. I mean,
see, I wouldn't mind, like, even if they don't show them in Infinity War, I think it would have been awesome for them to switch things up a little bit and give us a second season of the Defenders during the event of Infinity War and what they were doing at that time. And,
that's kind of what I was saying.
Yeah, like have a cameo here and there. I think that would be best. You don't have to put them in the movie completely, although I think they should. But
right.
I don't know.
I mean, but with having so many characters already in the movie, it's going to be tough. If they were going to go that route.
If they made it a 3.5 hour movie, everybody would see it. Just make it a 3.5 hour movie.
I'd be okay with it. I could sit there and watch movies. Like I said, TV series, I'm not a big fan of. Yeah, because
speaking of
and watch episode after episode.
With Netflix stuff, The Punisher is due to come out any day now, it seems. They announced, or released, not announced, but they released a trailer, a short, like, minute-and-a-half trailer for the Punisher TV show, which I think looks fantastic.
I'm gonna say I haven't watched the trailer yet. I kind of want to do a reaction video to me reacting to the trailer, so I probably will do that, because I kind of want to start my own like little podcast / YouTube channel here. So we'll see what happens now that I get a little bit of time.
Yeah. Well, I check it out, because it's good. It's brutal. It's everything that you would want from a Punisher show. So I'm looking forward to that completely. They still haven't given a release date. However, at the very end of the trailer, it kind of hints to it's going to be 2017, so it will be this year. My theory on it is this. It's going to come out one of two times, either the end of October middle to end of October, which
Mhm.
I guess could make sense. But I think the smart move for Marvel to do is to release it either the week or the week after DC's Justice League comes out. And the reason why I say it's a smart move to do that is because they're trying, like they're playing this game with DC. If you haven't noticed over the past year or so, DC gets real high. Here's a trailer. Look how great it is. And 2 days later, they drop a trailer. You know,
Yeah.
real high. Wonder Woman does great, and then they drop a trailer for something. You know, so that's what they're doing. They're playing a game with DC right now, and
They're
obviously,
playing cat and mouse.
when Justice League comes out on November 17th, that movie is going to be huge for DC and Warner Brothers. It's going to be huge. Now, the big thing is not what it's going to do its first week, but what it'll do its second week, because sometimes that's a little more important than what it does the first week. The drop off that you have between weeks, and a drop off, I would suspect a drop off of about 30 to 40% in revenue from one week to another for a top notch movie. I think Marvel is going to want to try and make that drop a bit bigger. They probably want to see like a 50-60% drop, and the way to do that is to keep them home on their couches watching The Punisher. And I think that's what they're going to do. So I think it's going to be the week after Justice League comes out, which I believe is the same week as Thanksgiving. So that would be Thanksgiving weekend right there. No,
and that would probably be the perfect time or if it was.
It's the weekend leading to Thanksgiving, not Thanksgiving. No, it is. What's Thanksgiving? I can't remember.
It's the 4th usually.
Is it the last weekend or the last Thursday? I don't know.
I think it's the last Thursday. Thursday. Let me bring up my calendar.
Who cares? Whatever. I think it's going to be that weekend. Personally, I just think it makes most sense at that point because
it's the 20th.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, I think that would be a perk because people are going to be home at that time. So you're going to want to keep them home.
Families will be together. Yeah.
You want to keep them home and not go see Justice League. Perfect time to do it, in my opinion. So that's my thought on that. And then they did announce that filming for Jessica Jones season 2 and Luke Cage season 2 have started. So those have been going on for a little while. Purple Man, David Tennant, has been seen on the set for Jessica Jones.
I know.
So that's exciting. Don't know how they're going to bring it, but hey, I'm all for it because I still think he's probably the best villain that the MCU in a whole has had.
I agree. I love David Tennant. I am a Doctor Who fan, so I will follow him to the ends of Earth. So he's an amazing actor, and he did the Purple Man perfectly season 1. I loved every second of it, and I think that's what really roped me into watching Jessica Jones. You know, so I would like to see how they're going to bring him back. Is it going to be him actually back, or is it just going to be like flashbacks and her mind's playing tricks on her?
That's what
she's a bit of an alcoholic.
But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. I don't want to speculate. I don't know much about it yet. You know, they've literally only shown one picture of her like whispering in her ear from the next season.
Right. No, so I'm kind of hoping it's going to be him in a few seasons, even if it is kind of like flashbacks.
Yeah.
You know, have him in a few episodes, and I think they'll do good. I'm excited for Jessica Jones season 2 because that is something that I actually did enjoy. Luke Cage, we'll see how it goes. I might try and watch it again. We'll see. I don't know. Like I said, not a TV watching person.
Yeah, again, give it a shot. I get to the point, like I binge things, but most of the TV shows that I watch, because I watch a lot, I just have in the background. I just have
really?
In the background while I'm doing stuff. You know, if I'm working out or something like that, I literally have it on in the background and just, you know, watch it that way. The stuff that I really want to watch, I sit down, binge, and watch it. Like Fuller House this weekend, I watched all 6 episodes. 9 episodes. Why only 9 episodes, Netflix? Why only 9? The last 2 seasons were 13. What the HE double hockey sticks? Come on.
I haven't even. I think I've watched like a few episodes of season 1, but that's just me again.
Yeah, getting into it. I mean, yeah. If you can watch those shows, I'd say watch them. Skip Iron Fist if you can. Honestly, though, unfortunately, Iron Fist actually has a bigger it's a bigger lead into the Defenders than Jessica Jones or Luke Cage is. Really, Daredevil's season 1 and 2 and Iron Fist, those 3, seasons of shows really are the big components of leading into the Defenders. So if you haven't watched those are the 3 things that you need to watch prior to Defenders, honestly, I would think. But you said you didn't even watch Iron Fist.
I didn't watch Iron Fist or Luke Cage. I pretty much watched Jessica Jones, then Daredevil 1 and 2, and then went straight to the Defenders. And I pretty much picked everything up. Like, there was nothing that really led me to have to watch Luke Cage or Iron Fist.
That, from what I can remember, that you don't see in the Defenders that you saw in like Iron Fist or something like that, with some of the villains and the good guys and stuff like that aren't hugely or greatly important in the Defenders, but adds a little bit more depth to it. So you don't have to, like, if you want to just go watch the Defenders, just go watch the Defenders, because I think it's definitely one of the better shows.
At least watch Jessica Jones and Daredevil before you do that, because those ones are very good. Definitely watch Daredevil, because that one, he was very struggling with himself and who he wanted to be. So that, is really, really good. Because it kind of made you feel like if you were in his place, what would you do? You would probably be struggling too with, do I be this superhero, or do I just, say forget it and do what I need to do with my career, So it's kind of like life, I'm sorry, Robert, I'm a superhero.
I knew it. Yep. All right. But
superpower is taking down all the DC fans.
Bring it. But I think that's pretty much all I have. I mean, we talked a good bit about it. I hope you enjoyed talking about everything, and we'll do it again. Obviously, if we get trailers for Infinity War, I'll call up Rachel and say, Rachel, let's do a podcast about the trailer. I'm sure we'll do stuff like that. We'll try and stick to doing Marvel-centric shows, every once in a while once we get some information. I'm going to do the same thing for the DCEU as well. So if you are a DCEU fan, also be on the lookout for that. But yeah, do you have anything else that you want to talk about, Rachel? Anything?
There's about so little time, but I think we can leave it here because we do have other things coming out. I think definitely when Ragnarok comes out, we should go see it within the first week and then do a review on it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm going to see it that weekend, so
I'm hoping to.
Yeah, but okay. Well, in that case, I just want to let everyone know you can find our podcast, The Remote Control, on Facebook, Twitter, on YouTube. On Twitter, it's at The Remote Control, so it's at The Remote CONTRL. That's how you can find us on Twitter. On Facebook, just look for the Remote Control Facebook group and Facebook page. Join the group. It's starting to really build. We're starting to get some more people in there. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of discussion, whether it's movies, TV shows, movies in general, whatever it is. We talk about all things entertainment in that group.
Yeah, like video games, music. It's all there.
It's a lot of fun, and we welcome everybody into that group, as long as you're not an asshole. If you are, I'm going to kick you out. But it's a lot of fun. We have a lot of conversation going on there. But then you can also find us on iTunes or Apple Podcasts now, is what I think it's called. I think they changed the name to Apple Podcast. We're soon going to be on Stitcher. Probably within the next week or so, we'll be on Stitcher. You can Podbean. You can Google Play us. YouTube, like I said, we're everywhere that you can possibly think of finding us. We're probably there. So find us there. And please, honestly, what's really important to us is leave a review. Give us a 3-star, 4-star. I don't care what star rating. I mean, I'd love a 5-star or 4-star rating, but let us know what you think about this show and what we've been doing and what you want to see more of or what you want to hear more of, because we're just a bunch of nerds who do this podcast. We just have a lot of fun doing it. We talk about things that we love. So hopefully you enjoy it as well. So leave your review. Let us know what you think, because I'm always looking to improve. You can't improve unless people tell you what they want. So do that.
Definitely. Like, what I mean? Tell us what you like, what you don't like. Go from there. Have a discussion with us in comments. Either on the forum or wherever.
We also have, our flagship podcast, which is we call TRC. That's weekly. Every Tuesday we post that, so you can check out that on a weekly basis. And then we have right now, leading up to Star Wars: The Last Jedi, we're going to have a weekly Star Wars talk podcast where we talk all things Star Wars. Just getting pumped and excited for that, so you can check that out as well. Same places. It's all under the remote control moniker, so you can find it there as well. But besides that, I've been Robert Slavinsky. With me was Rachel Kasparic. Say bye.
Ciao.
There you go. And we will talk to you later. See ya.